I suddenly realized the money in my pocket had turned to ashes. Immediately, I realized something was wrong. I quickly drove home. Back in the room, I grabbed a handful of money. I ran to the window and threw it outside. Sure enough, before the money hit the ground, it had all turned to dust. To verify, I went back to the room and picked up Van Gogh's self-portrait. Walking to the door, I stretched half of the painting outside the door and kept the other half inside. A few seconds later, the half of the painting outside turned to dust. I finally understood. Everything acquired through wishes cannot leave this room. That is to say, no matter how much wealth we have, it doesn't count outside. To figure this out, I grabbed a hammer and started smashing the walls. The result left me stunned. The wall was covered with dense wires. I then lifted the floorboards, and underneath, it was all wires. Before I could recover from the shock, I saw my wife carrying our son, heading for the door. I rushed to stop her, but she insisted on opening the door and walking out. I dropped the hammer in fear, and rushed to the door. I had planned to call her back, but suddenly, I changed my mind. At that moment, the child outside started crying. His pale face turned bright red in an instant. My wife looked down in panic, and saw our son's baby shoes quickly decaying. She was horrified, screaming my name frantically. Listening to her heart-wrenching cries, I couldn't make up my mind. I rushed to her, grabbed the child, and immediately ran back into the house. The baby shoes that had fallen to the ground turned to ashes in an instant. What happened next left us even more stunned. The baby that was just in my arms had suddenly grown to about 7 or 8 years old. In less than a minute, my wife then understood. To keep the child alive, he must stay in this house forever. Seeing the child's innocent eyes, my wife couldn't bring herself to tell him the truth. So, for the next few months, she took extra care of him. At the same time, she made up a lie for him. The child had a strange illness and couldn't be exposed to the outside air. Only staying inside was safe. As a result, the more the child heard this, the more curious he became about the outside world. Eventually, leaving the house became his strongest desire. Whenever there was an opportunity, he tried to escape. Fortunately, my wife always caught him in time, so she decided to seal all the doors and windows with wooden planks. In the end, I couldn't oppose my wife. I had to comply. However, my worry never stopped. I even secretly ordered a handgun through express delivery. Every day, I secretly practiced shooting in the mountains, although I wasn't sure how it would help. The following days, my wife and I kept arguing about the child, but we didn't know that our son had already heard everything clearly. The next morning, I unexpectedly found the crystal ball that had been broken miraculously restored. I realized something was wrong. I quickly notified my wife. At that moment, the lights in the house suddenly started flickering. When we opened the door to the wish room, the scene before us left us speechless.